Welcome to the Gaming Cube,
number one video gaming podcast
in the country.
Right, hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Gaming Cube podcast. This is your host Tom Dallard, as always, but I won't be joined by any guests today. It's just me going solo. I will be talking mainly for today the story and the evolution of the Call of Duty franchise. More specifically, it'll be about Black Ops and Black Ops 2 and how they're linked, their story. I'll then go on some more detail about my gaming history, of how I've become the gamer I am today, and if at the end of it, see if I've got any future plans for any more episodes for this podcast. So that will be the main things we'll be covering today. So as always, I'll get straight into this. So the story and evolution of Call of Duty. So I will be talking mainly about Black Ops and Black Ops 2. The reason why I'm talking about Black Ops is because unlike all the other Call of Duties, they're probably the best two games of the franchise, in my opinion anyway. People would agree and disagree with me on that, but you can't really say anything about that. That's their own opinion. So Call of Duty Black Ops. So this game first came out, according to my notes, came out on 360, November the 9th, 2010. So that was for worldwide, I think it was. So I can remember getting Black Ops actually, because it was quite. I think it was Christmas Day. So Christmas Day in 2010 was when I got it. So it was about a bit old at that point. So not many people still really knew the game that well in my area, my mates. So when I first played it, I quite liked the story, because before I played Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, so I really liked that story of that thing, but Black Ops really intrigued me for some reason, and it's probably the story, so I'll give you a quick overrun of the story and how I felt about it playing at the time. So yeah, it's set in the 1960s, so the Cold War, a war between United States of America and Malaysia, and it's set for the game anyway. It was set on February the 25th, 1968. You play as a SOG operative in Alex Mason, and when you first come into the game, you see him strapped to an electric chair in an interrogation room, as he's being literally asked all these questions about who does he work for, what is their motive and all that, to take down the Russians and all that. And that's also the main menu of it. If any of you guys remember it, you'll remember that you can do a thing where at one point you can walk about, you can get off of the chair of the main menu, and you can walk around and play like an arcade game at the back for some reason. I don't know why that was ever there, but I was always playing that or Nazi Zombies were the two main things, and multiplayer, of course. So in 1961, Mason, Woods, and Bowman, you take part in a game called, or a mission, I should say, called Operation 40, and that's to assassinate Fidel Castro in Cuba during the Bay of the Pigs invasion. And then at that point, over time, Alex Mason starts to get all these numbers in his head, and it starts to take over his mind. And as it does, it slowly deteriorates him. He can still go out and fight, of course, with his soldiers and all that, but obviously, because this is 1968, so what they do is that they get him to go back in time, and that's what refers you to these earlier missions of how we started to get to that point where he's in an interrogation room. So when he's first been given the numbers by the Russians, he starts seeing loads of crazy things, including Viktor Reznov. So for those of you Call of Duty fans out there and players, you'll know who Reznov's from. He's from World at War #5. And for some reason, Mason has a thing where he can just see him, but it's actually not him. It's actually Mason himself. So he's just talking to himself. Really, he seems very, very very let's see, mad is a word to describe him. We're very insane. So then it goes on for a bit more. You get to a point, 1963, where they have to go to the Soviet space program to eliminate members of the Ascension, which is a Soviet program which will give sanctuary to scientists, German scientists, for the exchange of their knowledge. So they'll get their knowledge, and at the same time, they can build weapons to take down in USA and the world. So after all this, you then skip forward many missions later. You skip forward to 1968, when Mason is actually captured, which is you play as Mason. And then after a time, you somehow manage to break out the chair, and you want to get rid of the numbers in your head, as it's starting to take over, and you seem to be trying to get rid of it. So after many attempts of trying to get rid of it, he eventually does get rid of it, and that will pretty much end the game. And then after that, Black Ops 2 came out, so I never thought there would be another another Black Ops spin-off on it. So yeah, when Black Ops 2 came out, I was even more impressed with how they've done the story. I think it's probably one of the best storylines for any Call of Duty games, really, because I don't know, for me it draws out the emotion. Like, you feel like you're really into it, you're really there. That's you, not Mason. And if any video game company can achieve that and target their target audience like that, I think it really makes it and really shows you how good of a game it truly is. So yeah, moving on to Black Ops 2. This came out in 2012, so November the 12th, 2012. Wow. 12/11/12. What a date. I can remember that because there was a poster and it said 12/11/12 on it. So yeah, this came out 2 years later after the first one. And this one is based on another particular Mason, but it's not Alex Mason. It is David Mason. So it's set in 2025, where you're playing as David Mason. You go to an old people's home which has Frank Woods in there. Frank Woods, who fought alongside Mason in the wars, and you go through. You switch back from current day, which is 2025, to that thing, and obviously the main leader or the main enemy for that is Raul Menendez, who both Masons and Woods know. As Raul Menendez was just starting off in the 1980s, and then now you get to 2025, he's a mega mafia member, or mafia leader, I should say, of the I don't know, is he Russian? I can't remember if he's Russian or not. He's Cuban or something like that. And obviously his motive as to why he wants to kill all these Americans is because the US sent out a force to go and assassinate Menendez, but they were accidentally threw a grenade and killed Josefina, which was Raul Menendez's sister, back in 1986. And you skip a couple of years later after that, and the reason why Raul Menendez is doing all this is because he wants to and he ends up killing Alex Mason in the end. He gets Woods to shoot him, and then obviously David Mason, who's his son, freaks out because he never knew that, and he then goes on to be a soldier himself, and he's part of the the CIA, I think it is. I know it's been ages since. Well, I've got the game still, but I don't know what who he works for. Oh no, it's the JSOC, so JSOC. I can't remember the initials. It's quite complicated. I'm just looking it up now. Oh, That's what it stands for. It's the Joint Special Operations Command. So yeah, that's pretty big, I guess. So that's what they're for. Obviously, you then go on to the thing where the ending is, he goes on to obviously go against Menendez, tries and stops before Raul Menendez launches a massive cyber attack against the world. Especially starting off with the likes of Washington, New York, Manhattan areas, Brooklyn, all the areas in New York, really, you know, where most big cities or big game titles are based. They're heavily based on major cities. It's just like the movies, really, as well. So that's pretty much. And obviously, in the end, David Mason goes on to kill. You can at the end you either get to spare. You either get to spare Menendez or you get to assassinate him, kill him right there. I don't know about most of you guys, but when I first played it, I killed him straight away. He, you know, after everything he'd done and all that, I thought it was just easy enough to just kill him, so that's what I did. And obviously you get the good ending at the end and all that, and obviously everything. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the Black Ops games. The reason why I like this so much is because I love the first one, so obviously, yes, I'm going to enjoy the second one most more, and I like games, and I appreciate companies who can keep on carrying with the same sort of storyline, but with different characters. That's the one the thing I mostly like about gaming. So yeah, overall about Black Ops, I absolutely love it. Both Black Ops games, I think they're fantastic. So yeah, moving on to the next thing now, is my gaming history. So if you didn't listen to the very first episode of the podcast I ran down my first few games and all that. So yeah, for those of you new listeners, or if you just if you're new to this, my first games were Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Halo Combat Evolved as well. I did also play a few years later, like the likes of FIFA. My first FIFA was FIFA 06. That was on PSP. FIFA 07 again was on PSP. And then obviously I then got to get FIFA on the 360 because that's when it first came out. So the very first FIFA game I had on the Xbox 360, or Xbox anyway, was FIFA 08, which I really, really enjoyed. And since then, at that point as well, I've been a wrestling fan for years, but I got back into it in let's say, I've still been a wrestling fan for the last 10 years, but it was like for 3 years or so, I completely went off it, after what had happened in certain places and all that, and obviously I wanted to concentrate with going out, seeing my mates and all that. I could have balanced both, but I didn't really have the time. So I subbed out my love for wrestling for going out with my mates and playing FIFA and Call of Duty and all that. So now I look back on it, I'm pretty glad I did, because I wouldn't have had the amazing childhood if I didn't do so. So yeah, I'm really happy with myself there. But enough about me. It would be like, for my gaming history, so Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Halo Combat Evolved. There was another game I used to have as well, my very first game as well. I can't remember. I think it was like an old Dragon Ball Z game or something like that. I barely played it, to be honest. I don't like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not a big fan. But my other one was Mortal Kombat, so I was really happy I had that. Like number 5, I think it was. And then a few years later or whatever, I then started playing Left 4 Dead, the Left 4 Dead series, Left 4 Dead franchise, along with Assassin's Creed. So yeah, my horizon, my variety of games expanded over the many years. Going from when I first played video games when I was 6 all the way now to when I am now. I'm now 17. And like I said, with all the things I've done, like transporting different things, I'm glad I did that now, because I wouldn't have had the amazing childhood, in my opinion, that I did have. So yeah, I was really happy with that. So that's mainly my gaming history, and the games I currently play right now: Call of Duty Black Ops 2, FIFA 15. I also play WWE 2K15 as well, which is wrestling if you didn't know that already. That's pretty much it in terms of games I currently play, because I have time to do it because I have to balance it between college and all that sort of thing, but, those are the main ones I get the most out of, so that's why I keep playing it. So now, moving on to the very, very last segment I want to talk about, is my future plans for more episodes. So obviously, I have obviously I'm the host, so I came up with a name, I came up with the idea, that's why I put myself as host, not in spite of anybody, not because I hate anybody in particular, it's just that as a host, I came up with the concept, I came up with the name, so I thought, hey, why not be the, I don't know anyone, when I listen to podcasts nowadays, I don't know anyone who's the host who didn't come up with the initial idea. Obviously, the co-presenters or whatever helped it, but the main host was the person who came up with the initial idea. So I like to say full credit of coming up with the name of the GameCube podcast, but obviously I've had some very special guests on the show who have made the show what it is so far, I guess. So a massive thanks to everybody who's appeared on it, like Chris, Simon, Zach, and Josh, of course, who we haven't seen in a while or heard in a while on this podcast. I see him every day, but we haven't heard of him. I might get him back in for thing, but coming on, which it will tie with what I've got more plans. This isn't like a farewell or anything. So what I mean by future plans is what I want to create or what I want to do for more and better episodes. So I'd probably go with get more people on, more interviews with them, and getting more topics out there. And because at the end of the day, we're here to share our love of video games to anybody who happens to listen to this, and hopefully they get as much enjoyment from listening to this as I get as much enjoyment coming in here, put my memory stick in the computer, in the hard drive, and recording an episode and putting it out there. It's all because this is what I want to do. If I had to choose a career, I would do this for a living because I absolutely love it. There's nothing else I'd rather do. Either this or radio is one of the things, and that's why one of the many things I talk about media. Why I studied media in the first place. Actually, that's another plan I could do. Talk about how my media studies has come under the how it's come under like my passion to do this sort of thing really, and how I got here in the first place. So it'll be very interesting, and hopefully you guys would enjoy hearing my personal story, and hopefully I can get a few more other people to join me. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. As I said last time, I'm never ever going to read out all the bloody things like my my follow on a Facebook page for the podcast and Twitter and Instagram, because it takes way too long. I've put it all on the info on the Facebook page, or I haven't yet, but I've got to do it. Hopefully by the time this comes out, or this goes out, it would have already been up there. So I'm pretty much going to wrap it up because I've got to go to my tutorial, which is in about, 15 minutes. No, not even that, but 10 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up. So once again, thank you for listening for today's episode. I've been your host, Tom Dard, and hopefully we'll get more people to come on next time and listen to bigger and better things for this podcast. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.